Commander Zethra stood on the bridge of the Korvax exploration ship Lightseeker and stared at the screen. Something floated in the darkness of space ahead. It was big, it was damaged, and it was sending out a weak distress signal. "What is it?" Zethra asked. His voice was soft, like all Korvax voices. His people were tall and thin, with gray skin and large black eyes. They were explorers, not fighters. "Unknown design, Commander," replied Scientist Mora. She touched her controls with delicate fingers. "The metal is primitive. Chemical rockets for propulsion. But the size is impressive. It must carry thousands of beings." Zethra felt curious. In 300 years of space travel, the Korvax had met 47 different species. All had joined the Galactic Concordat, the great alliance of peaceful races. Perhaps this was the 48th. "Scan for life signs," he ordered. Mora worked quietly. Then her eyes widened. "Commander, there are life forms aboard, but they are frozen. In some kind of sleep chambers. Frozen? Why would they do that?" "Perhaps for long journeys," Mora suggested. "Their technology seems slow. Maybe they sleep while traveling between stars." Zethra made his decision. "Prepare a boarding team. Medical staff too. If there are survivors, we must help them." An hour later, Zethra floated through the airlock into the alien ship. His suit kept him safe from the cold and darkness. Behind him, 5 other Korvax followed. Their lights cut through the black interior. The corridor was wrong. That was Zethra's first thought. The walls were torn. Metal was bent and burned. Dark stains covered the floor. The gravity was offline, so everything floated, including the bodies. "By the Concordat," whispered Mora. She pointed her light at a shape floating nearby. It was not like any creature they had seen before. It was tall, wearing some kind of armor, but the armor was torn open. The body inside was gray and very dead. "This one has 4 arms," said Medical Officer Fenn. "Reptilian features. Wait." He pushed closer. "I know this species. This is a Zathan warrior." The name made everyone go silent. The Zathan were slavers, pirates, killers. They raided peaceful worlds and took prisoners to sell. The Concordat had fought them for 50 years and lost every battle. The Zathan were too strong, too cruel. "What is a Zathan doing on the ship?" Zethra asked. "Commander," called another team member from down the corridor. "You need to see this." They floated through the damaged ship. More bodies drifted in the darkness. All were Zathan. All were dead. The team found signs of battle everywhere. Burn marks from energy weapons. Holes in the walls. But something was strange. "These wounds," Fenn said, examining a floating corpse, "they are not from Zathan weapons. These are projectile impacts. Metal bullets. Very primitive." "Are you saying," Zethra said slowly, "that whoever owns this ship killed these Zathan raiders with primitive weapons?" "It appears so, Commander." They continued deeper into the ship. The damage grew worse. They found a section where the walls were covered in frozen blood. A makeshift barricade had been built from furniture and metal plates. Behind it, they found more Zathan bodies, dozens of them piled together. "This was a defensive position," Mora said. Her voice shook. "Someone made a stand here." Zethra looked at the scene. His people were peaceful. They had never seen real war. But even he could read the story written in blood and metal. A desperate fight. No surrender. No mercy. They found the cryo bay 3 levels down. Rows and rows of sleeping chambers filled the huge room. Inside each chamber was a being unlike anything in Concordat records. They had 2 arms, 2 legs, and smooth skin. Their faces were peaceful in sleep. There were thousands of them. "Are they alive?" Zethra asked. Fenn checked the readings. "Yes, the chambers still function. They sleep safely." "Then who killed the Zathan?" "They searched for 2 more hours." The ship was enormous. They found living quarters, engine rooms, storage bays, and everywhere signs of battle. Finally, in the command center, they found what they were looking for. The black box was built into the wall. It was scarred and burned, but still blinking with a weak light. Mora connected her equipment to it. "I can access the logs," she said, "but the language is unknown. It will take time to translate." "Do it," Zethra ordered. "I want to know what happened here." Mora worked for an hour. Her computer compared the alien language to all known languages in Concordat databases. Slowly, patterns emerged. Words took shape. "I have something, Commander," she finally said. "An audio log. The last entry before the power failed. Play it." The voice that came through the speakers was rough and tired. The translation scrolled across their screens as the words played. It was a female voice, strong, even in exhaustion. This is Sergeant Major Elena Kovac of the colony ship Indomitable. If anyone finds this recording, know that we fought. Know that we won. The aliens who attacked us, who killed Captain Morrison and tried to take our people, they're all dead now. Every single one. Took us 3 days. 12 of us against 200 of them. We used everything. Guns, knives, tools, our bare hands when we had to. They thought we'd surrender. They were wrong. The voice paused. They could hear breathing. Pain in every breath. The ship is dying. Life support is failing. We put everyone back in cryo before the end. Bought them a chance. I don't know if rescue will come. But if it does, if someone finds us, tell Earth. Tell them we didn't go quiet. Tell them we made them pay. The recording ended. Silence filled the command center. Zethra and his team floated in the darkness, staring at the dead console. 12 against 200. Humans against Zathan, and the humans won. The universe had just become a much more interesting place. The Concordat High Council chamber was built to inspire peace. 47 species sent representatives to this place. The wall showed images of beautiful worlds. Soft music played in the background. Everything was designed to encourage calm discussion. But today there was no calm. Commander Zethra stood before the council and watched the video logs from the human ship. He had watched them 100 times already. Each time they disturbed him more. On the giant screen, the translated recordings played. The council members watched in silence. Some had covered their eyes. Others had turned away. But all of them could hear the sounds, screaming, gunfire, and human voices, cold and determined. The logs told a complete story. The Indomitable had been traveling to a new world. 15,000 humans in cryosleep, only a crew of 30 awake to maintain the ship. They were peaceful colonists, families seeking a new home among the stars. Then the Zathan found them. The first log showed Captain Morrison trying to communicate. He offered no resistance. He asked only that the Zathan leave them in peace. The Zathan response was to kill him and begin boarding. They slaughtered the crew. It took them 2 hours to secure the ship. Then they began opening the cryo chambers, selecting the strongest humans to take as slaves. They were professional, efficient. They had done this 1,000 times before, but they made a mistake. They woke up the wrong human. Sergeant Major Elena Kovac had been a soldier before joining the colony mission. So had 11 other colonists. When the Zathan pulled them from cryosleep, they pretended to be weak and confused. They let themselves be herded into a holding area with other prisoners. Then they struck. The video log showed what happened next. The security cameras had captured everything. One human grabbed a Zathan weapon. Another used a piece of broken metal as a knife. In 30 seconds, 5 Zathan were dead. The humans took their weapons and disappeared into the ship's maintenance tunnels. What followed was 3 days of brutal guerrilla warfare. The log showed the Zathan growing more and more frustrated. Their prey was hunting them. The humans used the ship's systems against the raiders. They vented atmosphere in sections where Zathan gathered. They started fires. They set traps. And they killed every Zathan they could find. The council watched as 12 humans fought through a ship that was falling apart around them. They saw Elena lead her people with cold precision. The humans moved through sections with no gravity, no heat, and no light. They fought while injured, exhausted, and outnumbered. One video showed a human named Marcus continuing to fight with a broken arm. Another showed a woman called Yuki setting an explosive trap while blood leaked from a wound in her side. They should have died. By all biological standards, they should have stopped. But they didn't stop. They couldn't stop. Something in human nature refused to surrender. The final battle happened in the cargo bay. The last 60 Zathan made a stand there. They had better weapons, better armor, better training. They had every advantage. The humans killed them all. The video showed Elena, covered in blood, standing over the last Zathan commander. He was begging for mercy. In the Concordat, mercy was always given. Surrender was always accepted. That was civilized behavior. Elena shot him twice and walked away. The recordings ended. The council chamber was silent. Zethra looked at the faces around him. He saw fear, disgust, and in some eyes something that might have been hope. High Counselor Vess spoke first. She was a Timora, a species of floating energy beings. Her voice echoed through the chamber. "This is barbaric. These humans are animals. They were defending themselves, Zethra said quietly. The Zathan attacked them. Defending? Vess's energy form flickered with anger. They could have hidden. They could have tried to reason. Instead, they chose slaughter. The Zathan do not reason, said Counselor Drax. He was Korvax, like Zethra. We have tried to reason with them for 50 years. They answer with raids and death. That is different, Vess insisted. We are civilized. We do not become monsters to fight monsters. Mora, who had traveled with Zethra, stepped forward. With respect, High Counselor, we watched our colonies burn because we refused to fight like the Zathan fight. Perhaps being civilized is not enough. The chamber erupted in argument. Some species agreed with Vess. Humans were too dangerous. They should be quarantined, their space marked as forbidden. Let them stay on their one small world and never join the galactic community. Others saw opportunity. If 12 humans could kill 200 Zathan, what could thousands of humans do? Millions? Perhaps humanity was the weapon the Concordat needed. Zethra listened to the debate and felt sick. His people were talking about humans as tools. As weapons. Not as the 48th species to join the Great Alliance. Finally, the vote was called. Should they contact humanity? Should they warn them? The vote split exactly in half. 23 species voted yes. 24 voted no. The deciding vote fell to High Counselor Vess. She was quiet for a long time. Then she spoke. I vote no. These humans are too dangerous. Let them remain isolated. Let the universe forget they exist. Zethra felt anger rise in his chest. High Counselor, the Zathan know about them now. The raiders who escaped before the battle surely reported back. The Zathan will come for revenge. If we do not warn Earth, we are condemning them to death. Vess's energy form pulsed. Then perhaps that is for the best. The universe does not need another species that kills so easily. The chamber fell silent. The decision was made. Humanity would not be contacted. They would not be warned. They would face the Zathan alone. Zethra left the council chamber that day and made his own decision. The Concordat had voted, but the Korvax had not. If his people wanted to act, they could. It took him 3 days to gather support. Many Korvax had watched the logs and seen something different from barbarism. They had seen courage, determination, the will to protect their own at any cost. These were not bad qualities. These were qualities the Concordat had forgotten. On the 4th day, a small Korvax fleet left for Earth. They carried a simple message, a warning, and a hope that when humanity learned about the galaxy, they would choose to be friends rather than enemies. Behind them, in the dark space between stars, Zathan warships gathered. 10,000 ships, an armada of revenge. They were coming for Earth, and Earth had no idea they existed. The Korvax ships emerged from faster-than-light travel at the edge of a yellow star system. Zethra looked at the screen and saw a small blue world, third from the sun. Earth, humanity's home. It's beautiful. Mora whispered beside him. Look at all that water. Zethra had studied the data they collected from the Indomitable. Earth was what the Concordat called a death world. High gravity. Dangerous weather. Predators everywhere. Most Concordat species came from gentle worlds with calm environments. Earth was violent by comparison. Maybe that explained humans. Maybe a hard world made a hard people. Send the greeting message, Zethra ordered. All frequencies. All languages from their database. They waited. Minutes passed. Then an hour. Finally a response came. Not words. Weapons. A dozen primitive missiles launched from Earth's surface, racing toward the Korvax fleet. Evasive action, Zethra called. The ships scattered. The missiles passed through empty space where they had been. They shot at us, Mora said, shocked. We sent a peaceful message and they shot at us. They don't know who we are, Zethra said. They have never seen an alien ship before. We are invaders to them. Try again. Send Elena's voice. They will recognize one of their own. Mora worked quickly. She pulled Elena's last message from the Indomitable logs and broadcast it toward Earth. They waited. This time, the response was different. A communication channel opened. A male voice spoke in English. The translation came through clearly. This is Earth Defense Command. You have recordings from the Indomitable. How? That ship has been missing for 2 years. Is this some kind of trick? Zethra spoke slowly, letting the computer translate his words. No trick. We found your ship. We found your people alive in cryosleep. We are a peaceful species called the Korvax. We come with a warning. Silence. Then what warning? The creatures who attacked your ship are called the Zathan. They are coming for revenge. A fleet of 10,000 warships. They will arrive at Earth in approximately 6 of your months. We came to warn you, to give you time to prepare. More silence. Longer this time. Then, stand by, the channel went quiet. Zethra and his crew waited. He imagined the chaos on Earth, first contact with aliens, and that contact brought news of an invasion. It was not how he wanted this to go. An hour later, the channel opened again. A different voice spoke. Female, older, heavy with authority. This is President Chen of the Earth Union. Commander Zethra, your ships may approach. We want to talk. The Korvax landed in a place called Geneva. Humans had built a huge complex there for their world government. Zethra stepped out of his ship wearing an environment suit. Earth's gravity was strong. The air was thick. But he could manage. Hundreds of human soldiers surrounded them. All carried weapons. All watched with hard eyes. Zethra understood. These were Elena's people. They took no chances. President Chen met them in a conference room. She was a small woman with gray hair and sharp eyes. 3 military officers stood behind her. They did not look afraid. They looked angry. Tell me everything, Chen said. Zethra did. He told her about the Galactic Concordat, about the 47 peaceful species, about the Zathan slavers who preyed on everyone. He told her about finding the Indomitable, about the logs, about Elena and her 12 warriors who killed 200 raiders. He told her about the council debate, about the vote, about how most of the galaxy had decided to leave humanity alone, to let them die. But you came anyway, Chen said. It was not a question. Yes, the Korvax believed you deserved a warning, a chance. Chen nodded slowly. She looked at the officers behind her. Something passed between them. A silent communication. Then she looked back at Zethra. How long until they arrive? 6 months by our estimate. Perhaps less. The Zathan are very angry. 12 humans killed 200 of their warriors. That has never happened before. They are bringing everything they have. How many ships exactly? Our intelligence suggests 10,000. Each ship carries between 50 and 200 warriors. They have energy weapons, boarding pods, and planet-destroying missiles. They will not negotiate. They will not show mercy. Chen smiled. It was not a happy smile. It was the smile of a predator who had just been challenged. Commander Zethra, can I show you something? She led them to a different room. This one had a giant screen covering an entire wall. She pressed a button and images appeared. Weapons. Thousands of different weapons. Bombs, missiles, ships, soldiers. This is what humanity has built, Chen said quietly. For the last 200 years, we have prepared for extinction. Nuclear war, asteroid impact, supervolcanoes, disease. We have plans for everything. We have weapons for everything. And now finally we know we're not alone in the universe. She turned to face Zethra. You said most of the galaxy voted to let us die. That's good information to have. Now we know who our friends are. And who our enemies are. President Chen, Zethra said carefully, you cannot fight 10,000 warships with your primitive technology. Even with 6 months to prepare, the odds are impossible. Perhaps evacuation, we don't evacuate, one of the officers interrupted. He was a big man with scars on his face. We're human. We fight, but you will lose. Maybe, Chen said. Maybe not. You said 12 of us killed 200 of them. You know what the mathematics of that are, Commander? That's a kill ratio of nearly 17-1. We have 8 billion people on Earth, millions of soldiers, thousands of ships, even if they are primitive. The Zathan are bringing maybe 1 million warriors. By the math, they don't have enough. Zethra stared at her. She was serious. Completely serious. 8 billion humans against 1 million Zathan, and she thought humanity could win. You're insane, Mora whispered. All of you. You're going to get yourselves killed. Chen's smile widened. Maybe, but we'll take them with us. Commander Zethra, thank you for the warning. Now, I have a question for you. Will the Korvax fight beside us? Zethra had expected this. He had thought about it during the entire journey. His people were peaceful. They had never fought a real war. But they had watched colonists burn. They had lost worlds to Zathan raids. I cannot speak for all Korvax, he said slowly, but I will speak to my government. I will tell them about your courage, about your determination, and I will ask them to stand with you. That's all I can ask, Chen said. She extended her hand. Zethra had learned this was a human gesture of respect. He took her hand. Her grip was firm, strong. "One more thing," Chen said. "Elena Kovac, the woman from your logs. You said she's alive?" "Yes, still in cryosleep. We stabilized the Indomitable. All 15,000 colonists survived." "Good," Chen said. "Bring her home. Bring all of them home. They deserve to see what happens next." The Korvax left Earth that day. Behind them, humanity began to prepare for war. Factories switched to military production. Ships were armed. Soldiers trained. The entire species moved with one purpose. In the darkness between stars, the Zathan fleet continued toward Earth. They expected an easy victory. Revenge for their fallen warriors. Another world to plunder. They had no idea what was waiting for them. The universe was about to learn what humanity really was. And after the lesson, nothing would ever be the same. Zethra returned to Earth 3 months later. He almost didn't recognize it. The planet was transformed. Weapons platforms orbited everywhere. Ships moved in organized patterns around the moon. Energy readings filled his sensors. Humanity had turned their entire solar system into a fortress. "This is impossible," Mora said, checking her instruments. "They built all of this in 3 months with primitive technology?" "They're not primitive anymore," Zethra replied. He had brought technical data from the Concordat, weapons designs, shield technology, faster-than-light communications, gifts from the Korvax to help humanity survive. The humans had taken that data and improved it. They landed at the same complex in Geneva. President Chen met them again, but she looked different now, harder. She wore a military uniform instead of civilian clothes. The weight of command had settled on her shoulders. "Commander Zethra," she said. "Welcome back. Come. I want to show you what we've built." She led them through the complex to a command center. The walls were covered in screens showing data from across the solar system. Officers worked at stations coordinating the defense. The room hummed with focused energy. "Every human settlement is now a fortress," Chen explained. "Every ship is armed. Every satellite can be used as a weapon. We've evacuated all non-essential personnel from orbit. 3 billion people have volunteered for defense forces. We have no professional army anymore. We have an armed species." She pulled up a tactical display. The solar system appeared in 3 dimensions. Red markers showed the expected Zathan approach vectors. Blue markers showed human defensive positions. There were thousands of them. "We're using the Korvax data you gave us," Chen continued, "but we've adapted it, made it, better suited to our needs. Here, let me show you something." She led them to a hangar. Inside, human engineers worked on a spacecraft. It was small and fast. Zethra recognized the basic Korvax design, but the humans had changed it. Heavy armor, oversized weapons, no comfort systems, no safety features. "It's a missile," Zethra said, realizing the truth. "You turned our scout ship design into a guided missile." "We prefer to call it a kinetic strike craft," Chen said. "One pilot, one mission, one target. We have 10,000 of them ready. The pilot will die?" "Yes, and we have 10,000 volunteers." Zethra felt cold. This was what scared the Concordat. Humans didn't just fight. They sacrificed. They threw themselves at their enemies without hesitation. It was terrifying and magnificent at the same time. A human officer approached. He was the same scarred man from the first meeting. "President Chen, the Indomitable has arrived. The colonists are being woken." "Good. Commander, would you like to meet Elena Kovac?" They went to a medical facility. Inside, humans were emerging from cryo-sleep. Medical staff helped them adjust. Families reunited. There were tears and joy. These people had left Earth 2 years ago. They had no idea what had happened since. In a private room, Elena Kovac sat on a bed. She looked exactly as she had in the video logs. Strong, hard, a soldier's eyes. But now those eyes showed confusion. President Chen entered with Zethra. Elena stood immediately despite her weakness. "Ma'am, President Chen, I don't understand. They said we've been rescued. That aliens saved us, that other aliens are coming to attack Earth, is this real? It's real, Sergeant Major. Commander Zethra is one of the Korvax. They're friendly. They found your ship. They warned us about the Zathan. They gave us time to prepare. Elena looked at Zethra. Her expression was hard to read. Thank you, she finally said, for saving my people. You saved them first, Zethra replied. We just brought them home. Elena shook her head. We just did what needed to be done. We fought. We survived. That's what humans do. That's what I wanted to talk to you about, Chen said. The galaxy is afraid of us, Elena. They watched your logs. They saw what 12 humans could do to 200 Zathan. Half of them wanted to quarantine Earth. To never contact us, they think we're monsters. Elena's jaw tightened. We defended ourselves against slavers, against killers. What did they expect us to do? Surrender? Let them take us? That's exactly what they expected, Zethra said quietly. Most concordant species would have surrendered, would have negotiated, would have tried to minimize casualties. They don't understand humans. They don't understand that you cannot surrender. Why would we? Elena asked. Surrender just means dying slower. Fighting means maybe living. The choice is easy. Mora spoke for the first time. But so much death. The Zathan you killed. They had families, children, lives. Elena turned to her. Her voice was cold. They came to our ship. They killed our captain. They started taking our people. They chose violence. We just finished it. If they have families who cry for them, maybe those families will learn not to raise slavers. The room fell silent. Zethra understood now. This was the fundamental difference between humans and the concordate species. The concordate tried to preserve all life, even enemy life. Humans preserved only their own. Everything else was acceptable casualties. It wasn't evil, it was survival. Pure, simple, absolute. The Zathan are bringing 10,000 ships, Chen told Elena. They want revenge for what you did. They're coming to destroy Earth. Elena smiled. It was not a pleasant smile. How long until they arrive? 3 months. Then we have 3 months to teach them the same lesson I taught the ones on my ship. You don't touch humans, you don't take our people. You don't threaten our home, because if you do, we don't stop until you're gone. Chen nodded. I'm putting you in command of the Strikecraft volunteers. 10,000 pilots who are willing to die to protect Earth. Can you lead them? Yes, ma'am. Zethra watched this exchange and felt something he had never felt before. Fear and admiration mixed together. Humans were terrifying. They faced extinction with cold determination. They prepared to sacrifice thousands to save billions. They didn't hope for peace. They prepared for war, and they were good at it. Brilliant at it. Natural at it. Over the next 3 months, Zethra watched humanity prepare. The Korvax government had voted to send a small fleet to help. 300 ships. It was all they could offer without leaving their own worlds undefended. Other concordate species sent nothing. They wanted to see what would happen without risking their own people. Elena trained her pilots. She was hard on them, merciless. But they loved her for it. They knew she had done what they were preparing to do. She had faced impossible odds and won. If they had to die, they would die following her. On the last day before the Zathan arrival, Zethra found Elena standing alone, looking at Earth through a viewport. The blue planet turned slowly below. Beautiful, isn't it? She said without looking at him. Yes. Worth fighting for. Worth dying for, she corrected. That's what scares your people, isn't it? That we're willing to die. That we choose to fight instead of run. Yes. She finally looked at him. We don't want to die, Commander. We want to live. But living means protecting what we love. Protecting who we love. If that requires sacrifice, we sacrifice. It's not complicated. It is to us. We have forgotten how to fight. How to sacrifice. We have been peaceful for so long, we have become weak. Elena smiled. Then watch us tomorrow. Watch what humans do when we're pushed. Maybe you'll remember. The next day, The sensors detected the Zathan fleet. 10,000 ships. Just as predicted. They were coming. Earth was ready. Humanity was ready. And the universe was about to see what 8 billion angry humans could do. The Zathan fleet emerged from faster-than-light travel like a swarm of locusts. 10,000 ships, each one a weapon of war. They had done this 1,000 times before. Attack. Overwhelm. Conquer. Today should be no different. Supreme Commander. Jacques stood on the bridge of his flagship and looked at the primitive blue world ahead. Somewhere down there was the species that killed 200 of his warriors. 200. The shame burned in his chest. Today, humanity would pay. Begin the intimidation, Jacques ordered. A massive Zathan dreadnought moved forward. Its weapons charged, then it fired at Earth's moon. The blast was designed to crack the satellite in half. A demonstration of power. A message, surrender or die. The moon exploded. Chunks of rock flew in all directions. Jacques watched with satisfaction. Now the humans would understand. Now they would beg for mercy. Instead, every human defense platform activated at once. Energy readings filled Jacques' sensors. Then a voice came through on all frequencies. Female. Cold. Familiar from the recordings. This is Sergeant Major Elena Kovac speaking for Earth. You wanted our attention. You have it. Now die. The humans attacked. It wasn't like any battle the Zathan had fought before. There was no formation, no strategy, just pure, focused rage. Thousands of missiles launched from Earth's surface. Human ships accelerated to ramming speed. The strike craft Elena had trained dove into the Zathan fleet like bullets. Evasive action, Jacques ordered. But there were too many targets, too many weapons coming from too many directions. The first wave of strike craft hit. Each small ship was piloted by a human who had volunteered to die. They crashed into Zathan vessels at incredible speeds. The kinetic energy alone was devastating. Ships exploded, hulls cracked. And behind each explosion, more strike craft came. Jacques watched in horror as 1,000 Zathan ships died in the first minute of battle. Return fire. Kill them all. The Zathan responded with their energy weapons. Human ships burned. Strike craft vanished in balls of fire. But for every human ship destroyed, 10 Zathan ships were damaged. The humans were trading 1 for 10 and they didn't care. They had 8 billion people. They could afford the trade. Zethra watched the battle from his Korvax command ship. His 300 vessels hung back, supporting where they could. But this was humanity's fight. And it was beautiful and terrible in equal measure. They're not trying to win, Mora said, her voice shaking. They're trying to kill as many as possible before they die. No, Zethra said, watching the tactical display. Look closer. They're targeting the command ships, the supply vessels. They're not just killing, they're destroying the fleet's ability to function. He was right. Elena's strike craft focused on the biggest targets, the ships that held the Zathan commanders. The fuel ships, the repair vessels. Humanity was cutting the head off the snake. The Zathan fleet began to break apart. Ships tried to retreat but ran into more human defenses. The entire solar system was a trap. Every planet, every asteroid. Every piece of debris had been turned into a weapon. Mars had been covered in missile platforms. Jupiter's moons held railguns. Even the asteroid belt had been rigged with mines. Humanity had spent 3 months preparing to die. And they had prepared well. Jacques' flagship shuddered under impacts. Multiple human strike craft had crashed into his shields. The barrier was failing. "Get us out of here," he screamed, but there was nowhere to go. Human ships surrounded them. More strike craft came. And, behind them, the larger human vessels with their primitive but effective nuclear weapons. A human cruiser, damaged and burning, accelerated toward Jacques' flagship. He watched in disbelief as it crashed into his ship's side. The nuclear reactor went critical. The explosion tore through the dreadnought. Jacques' last thought was impossible to believe. They're insane. All of them. Elena flew her strike craft through the chaos. Around her, the pilots she had trained died gloriously. They didn't scream. They didn't hesitate. They aimed their ships at targets and rammed them at full speed. Each death meant one less Zathen ship. Each sacrifice saved billions on Earth. Her sensors showed a large Zathen carrier trying to retreat. It was full of warriors. If it escaped, it would tell the Zathen Empire about Earth, about humanity. They would come back with more ships. "Command, I'm pursuing the carrier," Elena called. "Negative," came the response. "You're too far from support. Let it go." "Not a chance. If it reports back, they'll return." "We end this now." She pushed her engines to maximum. Behind her, 5 more strike craft followed. They caught the carrier at the edge of the solar system. The Zathen ship was fast, but human ships were faster. They had sacrificed everything for speed and weapons. No comfort, no safety, just engines and warheads. "For Earth!" Elena shouted. Her craft struck the carrier's engine section. The others hit moments later. The carrier exploded in a brilliant flash of light. But Elena's ship was damaged. The explosion had torn through her hull. Air leaked into space. Her controls were failing. She tried to turn back toward Earth, but the ship wouldn't respond. "This is Elena. My ship is dead. I'm drifting. It's okay. We got them. We got them all." The battle was over. Of the 10,000 Zathen ships that attacked Earth, fewer than 100 survived. They fled into faster-than-light travel, scattered and broken. The humans didn't pursue. They had won. Earth was safe, but the cost was terrible. 3,000 strike craft destroyed. 200 larger vessels lost. 50,000 human soldiers dead. And Elena Kovic, hero of the Indomitable, drifting in space in a dead ship, Zethra made a decision. "Take us to her coordinates, maximum speed." "Commander, we should help the wounded in orbit," Mora protested. "Humanity has saved themselves. Now we save one of them. Move." The Korvax ship raced through the debris field. They found Elena's craft 3 hours later. She was unconscious. Her suit's air was nearly gone, but she was alive. They brought her aboard and rushed her to medical. While the doctors worked, Zethra went to the communications station. He sent a message to every concordant world, every species, every government. The message was simple: battle recordings from Earth, the entire fight, every moment of courage, every sacrifice, every impossible victory, and with the recordings, a statement. "This is humanity. This is what you feared. This is what you rejected. Watch what they did. Watch what they can do. And decide if you want them as friends or enemies." The galaxy watched, and the galaxy fell silent. 3 days later, Elena woke in a hospital on Earth. President Chen was waiting beside her bed. "Welcome back, soldier." "Did we win?" Elena asked. "We won. The Zathen are gone, broken, running. You got the last carrier. None of them escaped to report back." Elena smiled. Then she saw the figure standing in the corner. Zethra stepped forward. "You saved me," she said. "You saved 15,000 colonists. You saved Earth. I saved one person. We're not even close to equal." "Thank you anyway." President Chen cleared her throat. "Elena, the Galactic Concordat has contacted us. 47 species watch the battle. They want to meet. They want to talk. They're scared of us, but they respect us. They're offering membership." "What did you tell them?" "I said we'd think about it, but I wanted your opinion. You started all this. You and your 12 warriors on the Indomitable. What do you think we should do?" Elena was quiet for a long time. Then she spoke. "We join, but on our terms. We don't become them. We stay human. We keep our weapons. We keep our military. We defend ourselves. And we defend our allies. The galaxy needs to learn that humans are loyal. We protect what's ours. And if anyone threatens our friends, we show them the same lesson we showed the Zathen." Chen nodded. "I agree. Zethra, tell your concordat we'll join. But humanity comes as we are. Warriors, protectors, and yes, sometimes killers. If they can accept that, we'll be the best allies they ever had." Zethra bowed. "I will tell them. And I will tell them one more thing. that the universe just became safer, because the monsters now have to fear the humans. 3 months later, Earth sent its first ambassador to the Galactic Concordat. Elena Kovich walked into the council chamber wearing a military uniform. She stood before 47 species and spoke with the voice that once rallied 12 warriors to fight 200. I'm Sergeant Major Elena Kovich, representing humanity. We're new to the galaxy. We're rough. We're dangerous. We're everything you feared, but we're also loyal, brave, and we never abandon our people. The Concordat voted to let us die. The Korvax voted to save us. We remember both. We remember who our friends are, and we remember who left us to burn. She looked around the chamber. Humanity is joining the Concordat, but know this. If slavers come, we fight. If raiders attack, we kill them. We don't negotiate with monsters. We don't show mercy to evil, and we don't stop until our people are safe. If you can't accept that, then we'll leave. But if you can, then you just gain the most loyal, most determined, most absolutely insane allies in the universe. The chamber was silent. Then, slowly, the Korvax representative stood and began to applaud. The Tamora followed. Then the Draxians. One by one, 47 species rose and acknowledged humanity. The universe had been silent, peaceful, safe, but weak. Now it had teeth. Now it had claws. Now it had humanity, and the monsters in the dark learned to fear the light.